Greetings from Farmington, Utah. Today is Friday, September 16th, 2022. It is just after 11 a.m. Mountain Time, and the weather is about 65 degrees right now. It may get up to 69 a little later, but we are presently at the Denver and Rio Grande Western Railway. So I just came from that direction, and I did this route a month ago to get to Farmington, but it was like a 90 plus degree day. So by the time I kept going like another route or two down this trail and got to Farmington Station, my camera was heating up, and I just felt like kind of not too interested anymore because of how hot it was. So I didn't continue exploring to the Farmington Creek Trail like I wanted to. But today, since the weather's cooler, I figured it'd be a good opportunity to do so. But we're going to do it a little bit different. And so I didn't record the ride going here since I did that a month ago. And we're not going to keep going that way. This is Burke Lane that we're on right now, or if we go to the left. So we're going to go left. And last month when I was at the Farmington train station, I saw that there's a bike route right behind it. That bike route actually begins like off of Burke Lane if we keep going down this way. So we're going to see the beginning of that trail. It's called the Legacy Parkway Trail. That trail in itself goes like kind of through Farmington and eventually ends up merging back with this trail. But we're only going to take it till we get to the bridge, and then we're going to take the bridge over by Lagoon, and that's where you get to the Farmington Creek Trail. So I'll attach this camera to my chest mount and we'll get started here. Alright, so this very first portion of Burke Lane does not have a dedicated bike lane on it. That's only the small stretch here, so that's why I made sure no traffic was coming. Because right when you get just up ahead here, we've got our bike lane back, although you still have to be careful because you can see it does say begin right turn lane, yield to bikes. So not the biggest fan of when they have bike lanes like right in the middle and traffic can still go in between. Is this a stop sign here? Yeah, I think it is. This is the first time I've ridden this route, so trying to be cautious. Yesterday I did a video where I went to see the scarecrow walk at Utah State University's Botanical Center. I didn't record my bike ride on the way there, but I took a city street from Layton to Kaysville. I believe it was North Fort Hill Road or something like that. Whatever road it was called, the bike lanes that were on the street were very wide. I want to say they were probably a good foot or two wider than this bike lane here. So it just seemed nice and spacious. Even though it wasn't protected, it made it feel safer, if that makes sense. Alright, so we're not going to want to continue right if I understood my directions correctly. Or maybe we will for a brief stretch here. You know what? I'm going to have to pull over. I think I want to go over there. Can I get through there? There's like construction vehicles here. At least I know where Red Barn is located now. Well, that says Red Barn Academy. That may not be the same as the food place. Yeah, I don't know if we can get through here or not. Well, maybe we can get around this side. We'll improvise. This, of course, is not a bike path. I'm just using it to cut through. Usually I would be able to take that road that I just showed. But good thing there appears to be an exit over here. Yeah, I probably wouldn't have been able to get through. They're digging that area up. But normally, I guess this whole black path here would sort of be the start of the bike trail, even though this spot right here is exactly the start of it. Let me snap a quick picture of that. So this is the Legacy Parkway Trail, although the sign here says Red Barn Farms Trailhead. You can see they're still expanding the number of housing on the right side. So not this bridge that's right in front of us, but I believe the bridge after that is when we're going to end up crossing over, because we want to get to the left of the highway and explore the Farmington Creek Trail, which will end up taking us back, I don't know what direction to call it, but back north, I guess. And I'm trying to visualize on Google Map like where I'm headed. I'm headed south right now. There's another trailhead, Aaron F. Richards trailhead. So 2 trailheads in the vicinity of all those housing. Some graffiti spray painted on the right wall there. And then this is where I ended my Farmington video last month, at the Farmington station, or specifically the Farmington station front runner, which you take that staircase over there or the elevator, take this bridge, and the front runner train picks you up over there on the left. All right, we've got multiple bridges here. So now that I'm thinking of it, it may not be the first bridge here. We'll just keep going. I'll figure it out once I get up there. This is like a cross section of multiple bridges if you're on the highway. Multiple ramps that each end up going a different way. Alright, so the trail now goes behind Home Goods, Ross, Dress for Less, the REI store, Nike store, Harmon's. In my head, I thought the trail was only going to be going south. I didn't realize it was going to make a turn to go toward the west. It's like a big deposit for salt and excess garbage and recycling cans there on the right. Wonder why the trail got super wide there. Now this bridge right here looks like the one that I'm aiming for. So now I just got to figure out where to go. I think that I'm going to go to the right and back upward. Yeah, so if I wanted to continue taking the if I wanted to continue taking it all the way and eventually merging back to the Denver Rio Grande, I would continue here. But I want to go over that bridge. Google Maps kind of has it weird. It makes it look like you can go directly from the ground level here and almost go like underneath the freeway or something. But that's not actually how it is in reality. So now you go back over here. See, they haven't really kept up with the weeds here. We've kind of exited that portion of the trail, but are going to make a right turn and go over the bridge. See, the sign there says bikers may use full lane. I'm like, yeah, no thanks. Maybe I would consider using this curb lane on the left. But this sidewalk's like the same thing pretty much, so why not be fully removed from traffic for sure. So you may be thinking like, whoa, like what's happening? How are you gonna get over? Well, just around the right here, there's a sheltered bridge for walkers or riders. Just showing perspective view of the highway. If you can see the roller coaster over there, that's Lagoon. They should have started their Frightmares, which is their Halloween themed I don't think this traffic light's working right now. Yeah, both cars waved me on though. So we're going to try to take this trail past Lagoon and then further back north into Farmington. I may pause for a second too, because one of my brakes feels like it's acting kind of funny. Let me just stop here for a second. Alright, I figured out what it was. Part of my brake cable had slipped out of its casing, so when I was applying the brake, it was like jamming a little bit. So I got that sorted out. Another name for this portion of the trail is the Lagoon Trail, but still the entirety, at least on Google Maps, is called the Farmington Creek Trail. I know we're just kind of getting started on the trail, but I'm considering deviating off to the city streets to have an early lunch. Oh, where did you guys come from? Backing up. See the horses? And this is actually the creek, Farmington Creek. When I went through this part last year, this portion, as you can see, like dragonflies. Oh, look at that. 4 grasshoppers on the ground. Yeah, this portion of the trail isn't the most well kept in terms of being cut. Yeah, I gotta be careful when I'm driving. There are, I don't know if you guys can see them all jumping. Little hill here. I lost my momentum because I'm like staring on the ground. I'd hate to run one over. I've never seen so many grasshoppers all at once. All right, we're gonna come back and continue on the trail, but let's go get something to eat at Caffe Torino. It's a great breakfast place in Farmington. It's still before noon here, so we can get a early lunch. It'll still be filling. Every city seems to have a main street in Utah. So, waving these couple of cars on just because I was checking something on my phone. Some of these cities in Utah have tried to implement this thing where you carry the orange flag as you're crossing the street. You can see there's not a lot of flags left. As I look at all the intersections, I only see 2 of them, and this one's beaten up. But you're supposed to like carry the flag, and it makes you stand out more. I know online, when I've read about that, some people have kind of criticized the idea, not liking it, because I believe the feeling is walkers shouldn't have to stand out more because cars are reckless. Right here, this little white house with the red umbrellas outside is Caffe Torino. So I decided to eat at one of the outdoor tables out in front at Caffe Torino because I love the ambiance of it. I don't know, kind of makes you feel like you're in a different country for a second. But anyway, I got the Monte Cristo crepe, so it should have some ham and turkey and cheese inside of it. And also I got a maple donut or pastry. And I didn't see this at first because you saw me taking my bike over there and I was getting ready to lock it to the rail, and then I turned around and saw that they do have a nice little bike rack here. So I will get ready to enjoy this. Alright, all finished eating. One little spoiler. I sold the fact that like all the ambiance out here is going to be great, which it was. I was, waiting like 5 to 10 minutes for them to bring out my order. They brought it out. I took like one or two pictures of it, and then all of a sudden this darn bee just kept hovering over the Monte Cristo and donut nonstop. Like it was one of those ones that will sting you. So I didn't want to swat it away and aggravate it. I gave it like 20-30 seconds and now it was just still hovering nonstop. So I ended up going inside to eat. So we're gonna ride back to the part of the trail that we exited earlier. Let me just make sure real quick that my camera isn't pointed to the ground. Nope, it looks good. I made that mistake last month during one of my videos in downtown Salt Lake City, and in fact it actually happened right after I had eaten at the breakfast place down there, which is like I think it's called Monsieur Crepes. But I left the place, and then when I got to Liberty Park in downtown Salt Lake City, or just outside of downtown, I didn't even realize it until I published the YouTube channel, published the whole video to the YouTube channel, and someone made a comment that the Liberty Park portion had my camera angled to the ground, and then I saw it. It was about probably like 5 minutes worth of footage, but still, I'm assuming that I had left the camera maybe in first person view or something, instead of the tilt locked mode, which I have now. Alright, but we are ready to continue on the Farmington Creek Trail. As I said earlier, this portion also may be referred to as the Lagoon Trail. So this is the new territory. Now this part so far is much better as far as the landscaping goes, like shrubbery not sticking out of the sides. Well, they actually have maybe it's this small portion that's the Lagoon Trail. Get a picture of that. Perhaps that's why this part of the trail is better kept, if maybe it's maintained by Lagoon. All right, it took me a while to get going there again. I have these couple pairs of shorts that I always wear when I bike ride because the pockets on them fit my cell phone so perfectly where it's snug. Yeah, but it fits it perfectly where up in the pocket the phone is very snug but also easy to slip in and slip out. But I think when I pulled my phone out, I turned like the pocket inside out, so I was like trying to get it back in, which is a rarity. I don't have it with me today. Something I was thinking about the other day that might be interesting on these bike riding videos is my DJI Pocket 2 device that I attached to the chest mount and used to film this bike ride. Does have an accessory called the wide angle lens. Again, I've never used it, but you're supposed to just be able to slip it on the camera portion, so I wonder if that would give like a better wide ranging perspective of what's on the left and right. Alright, and that is the end of the lagoon portion of the trail. If memory serves me correctly, I take this road down to the left here. And then on the right we should have the resumption, of the Farmington Creek Trail. Although it does also say Lagoon Trail here. It did rain last night, so there's some portions of the trail that are going to look damp. When we go over these bridges, we're riding over the Farmington Creek. Now, compared to some of the other trails, this at least this part of the trail is bumpier. Because of all the bumps, at least in this section, I would not advise riding super fast, because you're really going to get some jarring bumps then. That's why I'm taking it easy. Let me look at my watch, see how many miles per hour. Right now I'm just going like between 5 to 6 miles per hour, which is pretty slow. It actually does say though 5 miles per hour there. Believe it or not, that was not intentional for me bringing that up right before the sign. Wonder why they have this so tiny to squeeze through. Just big enough for a bike, though. Maybe it's really to discourage a motorized vehicle from going through. Something I'd forgot until now was how that whole portion of the trail was all uphill. That is a very pretty sight, though. Combination of the lake with the mountains. I'm gonna wait a second for the dog walker to get a little bit further ahead. Maybe now. Got a brief downhill part, but I think we're going to be going uphill. On your left. Thank you. Yeah, back in July, now I remember it was a workout going to this area. But then after I'm done filming and I'm on the way back, it's like so easy to coast. Hopefully the video is doing it justice on how steep this is. Now I'm forgetting which way to go. Let's pull over in the shade and check the map. Okay, good thing I didn't venture further on down, because that just takes you to a street. So I'll cut back to this part of the trail. We are going to try to see the Farmington Bigfoot statue, because I thought that was really cool. Yeah, see the condition of, again, the trail, even if you are riding. So many bumps from the trees uprooting it. Okay, let's try to, we've saved up enough energy, let's try to ride a little bit. Here's another trailhead. Now, if you wanted to explore up into the mountains, you could walk up there. There's also a path there. We're going to lift the bike. And now we start walking. If memory serves me correct, Bigfoot should be at the top of the hill up here. This path on the left is the steepest. I actually climbed that last year, but then on the way back down I took this path, which is slightly longer but less of a straight incline. See where the amusement park is, Lagoon? So we've come a far way. You can see how high up we are now. I know we climbed this little portion here, but when I was walking instead of riding up that bike trail because I said it was too steep, I wasn't kidding. Now right now I'm kind of like puzzled. Because I thought the Bigfoot statue was right over here. Oh no! Bigfoot temporarily unavailable, getting broken foot fixed. No! Yeah, I think Bigfoot was like somewhere right around here. Probably where that post is on the ground. I don't know if you can see it, but bummer. Bummer that he has a broken foot too. I'm sure that was a safety issue. Oh well. We tried. I'll try to post a picture of what Bigfoot looked like last year in case anyone didn't see it. But let me pause this video. I'm going to check out Google Maps, see if there's anywhere else I can venture off to here. Well, there's not really something distinct that I can see on the map. But maybe for the sake of doing something new, I'll go on a little walking hike just up here. I don't know if this dead ends up here or how far it goes, but we'll see. Before I venture too far, I just wanted to take a picture. of a landscape. Well, we've got one trail going that way and then one going up here. I'll just continue straight. My watch is telling me that I've hit a goal for climbing. Thankfully, the part that we're walking now is shielded from the shade, shielded from the sun. Further on up the mountains, you can see the sun. I don't know if it's because there's a cloud in the way right now. Or if the mountains are protecting. A little swarm of flies. Well, while I'm walking, I can tell a random story that's been on my mind. Oh, before I do though, let's think about this. We could go straight, or there appears to be somewhere down there. How about we go straight, and if we end up coming back, maybe we'll go down. But anyway, the story I was going to say was I arrived to downtown Salt Lake City via airplane Wednesday night. And it wasn't too big of a delay, but I was delayed about 15 minutes leaving from the Denver connection. And once we got to Salt Lake, it was about another 15-minute delay because we were waiting for a plane that was at the gate to move away from the gate. So because of that, I knew I was going to miss the final front-runner train that runs. So then I said, all right, let me check how much an Uber or Lyft would be. And Lyft would have been $150 and Uber would have been $120. So I was like, what the heck? No way I'm doing that. Well, I'm checking out Google Maps now here. Kind of intrigued to go to the right because there may be a Farmington Creek waterfall in the vicinity, although I don't know. We'll give it a shot. But anyway, yeah, $120 to $150. So I was like, screw this. So there's another train that called the Green Tracks that leaves directly from the airport and takes you to downtown. So I looked at the bus schedule and I saw that the next one was going to depart in 1 minute. So I sprinted for like 30 seconds to catch that train. Got on. Right after I got on, I paid my mobile fare, $2.50. And I was thinking, okay, I can either get to downtown, and then I'll check what the price of a Lyft or Uber is there. So once I got to downtown, which is only a 15-minute train ride, that was $32 to $35 for Lyft or Uber. So long story short, or summarized, because I was, a little savvy and quick on my feet and willing to take that 15-minute train ride and then do the Lyft or Uber, you ended up saving like $100. I think I hear water in the distance because the thing on the map that I'm possibly trying to see is gotta be careful when I'm walking through some of these plants. I don't know what the hell they are. These white ones in particular. But there's supposed to be a waterfall. I don't know if this is the right direction though. If this looks like a dead end over here, I may just abandon ship. Well, this is the creek, even though it's buried underneath the rocks, but there's no other place to walk here. Let me check Google Maps again. It makes it seem like the creek waterfall would be not too far ahead, but like I said, this is kind of a dead end. So let's turn around. I don't know how people did hikes back in the day. Well, I mean, you know how they did it, but I mean, did hikes without a cell phone because Google Maps is big time luxury. Yeah, I don't think that really goes anywhere that direction. Let me peek a little bit. It might. Let's see here. Do we have a trail here, or is this a dead end again? Nope, just another dead end. It's actually probably easier to carry the bike than wheel it through here. So now it's decision time. Do we pick a different part of a trail to randomly explore? Or do we say, let's just go back to ground level? This is where I was at my crossroads. We'll try it a little bit. If this one is a dead end, we'll call it a day in that respect. Well, we're higher up. And you do have a body of water all the way up here, as well as the electrical grid. Where does Google Maps say we are now? So I guess this would be the Bonneville Shoreline Trail, and you could keep taking that all the way to Fruit Heights, Utah, which kind of brings you out by Kaysville. But if it was like a bike trail, I wouldn't mind it. But I don't know if I want to walk, this type of terrain the whole way with a bike. If I was just walking, then I would do it. Well, actually, see, I wasn't even paying attention at first. I saw that one that went down there and around there, but there's also part of it that goes up here. So one of those two is the Bonneville Shoreline Trail. You know what? I think if I go that way, it may actually connect you back down. So let's give that a shot. Cautious not to stumble to my death here. At least I would have it on video, right? Yeah, what I was thinking was this would probably take us back near the Farmington Bigfoot. May not look it, but this one's actually tougher than the downhill part I was going down earlier. And again, the bicycle has a lot to do with it. Because if you didn't have the bicycle, you know, I'd have both hands free and could balance myself just walking. But I'm putting extra effort into my legs because my hands are using their strength to make sure the bike's not having too much momentum going downhill. Alright, so we're kind of, if you remember earlier when I saw that trail thing, I was like, oh, where does that go? So we kind of did a full circle of the trails around this area. Even though this part is downhill, this is like a piece of cake to walk because we don't have those big rocks and perhaps not as steep. Am I going the right way? I feel like I went the wrong way. Yeah, this would take you somewhere else. Where am I going? That's right, now I remember I gotta get to the Bigfoot thing, go down, and then take the path left. I've never known if, like, that home that's right there is what maintains the Bigfoot statue, or if that is something by, like, the Parks Department. By the way, if anyone's still watching this video, feel free to hit the like button, leave a comment, subscribe if you haven't already. First, I wasn't sure if I would show the path going back, but it does give different views because you're going the other direction. And like I said, once we clear the trail, we'll actually be able to ride the bike downhill, so that'll go much faster. It'll actually be too fast to the point where I'll be slapping my brakes on. Okay, let's ride partway. I'm not going to ride through that gravel parking lot, but I do have a small portion of the trail here. Let's see here. Wonder if we could take this road and it connects back to the trail. Yeah, you know what? I'll just go with what I'm familiar with. I have a feeling, if you remember that detour path that I showed earlier, where I paused the video and I said, nah, go somewhere else, but there was a road alongside of it. I have a feeling that might be the road. I'll have to look online now to see how long Bigfoot Farmington has been out of commission. Yeah, see what I'm talking about? If you were going fast over these bumps, I swear you would go airborne. Oh, here's where the road would have led. So yeah, I should have just done that, because then it would have connected us right here. Would have avoided all those bumps. So if you're taking the route back and you're watching this video, know that you can take that little road there to avoid all those bumps. Now this is where you get really, it was a steep up climb and now it's a steep down climb. I do not want to go at first over the handlebars. Too steep for my liking. But it does feel great. It's like your rewarding payoff is that you don't have to do any work going downhill. And even the one hill you do have like this, it's negated because I just used all that momentum. It did all the work for me. Even this portion here is all downhill. But it is also that bumpy area, so you got to be cautious. Excuse me.
Good day, beautiful day.
Thank you. Nice to see other people taking advantage of the trail. Should probably take a picture here. Always nice to take a picture of a creek. You know, and while I'm here, I'm gonna check when the next front runner comes to Lagoon or Farmington. Toward Ogden. $122. So we're not going to catch. It's 118 right now. We're not going to catch the 122. So the 222 is the next one. So we can actually. I'm not going to film on that whole duration, but always nice to have that in the back of your mind so you don't like race as fast as you possibly can. So see how quick that took us? I mean, this isn't the end of the trail, but because this is where like the lagoon that little lagoon portion started, but I kind of, in my mind, separate them into two different trails, or two different distinct parts of the trail. Now there was a sign there that said bicyclist caution. I wonder if that's because of the bumps that are coming up. Yep, right here. It's like a speed bump. And the curve ahead. I don't know if I want to ride through this part on the right side again, just because of all those grasshoppers that were there. Or I could just go out to the street. That's what I think I'm going to do. Get back to that bridge that goes to the other side. Farmington Station area. Plus, you can never complain about seeing a little bit of the city itself and the houses in it. I believe in my video last year when I saw Farmington Bigfoot, I showed a little bit of the houses on Main Street. Because although I did not go in the breakfast lunch place, I did drive past it last year and then kept driving for a little bit. Thank you. Gotta remember these crosswalks and traffic lights are not operating at the moment. I'm going to get off and walk it. It actually went much quicker than I was even expecting. The reason I bring that up is because like it's 1:24 right now. I know the front runner train at 1:22 would have left already. Maybe if I had done one less detour in my video, I could have caught an earlier one. Well, it feels so good up here because not only are you in the shade, but there's a big draft of wind coming from the highway. If you wanted to, you could continue driving on the sidewalk up ahead and use that to get to Farmington Station. But I'm just going to go back to the bike trail at the bottom of this hill. Again, like I said, all downhill on the way back. Although, as the sign says, no winter maintenance. I also saw a little note there that said bicycle speed limit 15 miles per hour. When I'm doing like my normal fast pace, and let's check how it is. Well, right now it's like 11 miles per hour, but usually my normal fast pace on level ground is 10 and a half miles per hour. When I was pumping my legs this morning on flat ground, I was getting up to 14 to 15 miles per hour. Sometimes people ask me, like, why do you do such long videos? Or why do you need to show the whole thing? Well, of course, I don't need to, but why do you choose to? I think it goes back to, like, even in Las Vegas. I bring Las Vegas up because that was my very first ever vacation outside of Cleveland, Ohio, back in 2017. And my brother and I did a bike ride away from the strip, but we were trying to, in advance, scout it out. And you can use Google Maps for a bit of it. But we wanted to make sure if we were going to rent bicycles that it was going to be like a safe trail, something dedicated maybe, or just so we didn't get lost, that it would be, you know, just a generally nice trail to take. So I believe we looked up some videos back then, and we may not have watched the whole thing in its entirety, but we spaced around, could see like certain intersections compared to Google Maps, and for me it was a very useful tool. And then I also think you have people who maybe are even local to the area who haven't been on a certain trail and are just curious about it. Maybe they'll only watch a few minutes of it, but they could skip around, and the skipping around nature is what I usually think. Like, say if this video today may be 2 hours long or 2.5 hours long, someone could condense it themselves down into 10-15 minutes by watching a little bit, and then going forward, maybe they'll get to one particular spot they're interested in, and then they'll watch that part. So I just like having that flexibility available. And then the third reason is just for my own personal documentation. I always say, you know, certain things you do, maybe they're, you never know, they could be once in a lifetime experiences. And not that you have to document every experience on video, but I think it's cool to, maybe if it's a year or so from now, maybe I'll be having a conversation with someone like, oh yeah, once I did this trail in Farmington, and like, hey, let me show you a little bit of it. And I don't know, it's fun for me. That's a big key too. I enjoy doing it. It's relaxing to myself to narrate, even though I know in my head I'm talking to an audience of sorts. I also feel like I'm just in a very relaxed, peaceful state when I'm doing this type of thing. So here is the front runner station. That's what we're going to catch in about 50 minutes or so. But in the meantime, I will find some place to sit down and probably surf on the internet, or I don't know, maybe I'll stop somewhere and grab a drink. So one more time, if you enjoyed today's bike riding adventure and a little bit of a hiking adventure exploring the trails in Farmington, again, we started on the Legacy Parkway Trail, then went over the bridge into the other part of Farmington to see the Farmington Creek Trail. Unfortunately didn't see Bigfoot, but either way, I will include a link in the comments section of some pictures I took of Bigfoot in the past, so you can reference that, and I'll show last year's video in that link too. But again, you like this video, feel free to hit the like button, give us a subscribe if you haven't already, feel free to leave a comment down below, and we will see you next time. Signing off from Farmington, Utah.